All right, everybody, we're back. Part 2 of episode 90 of Smack Talk, which means, of course, as always, the hot tags. And we got a bunch of stuff to talk about this week. First up, WWE wants to do a Comic-Con style convention thing eventually. They don't really have set plans, but I kind of think this is a pretty good idea. The only problem is they already have access.
I said I was going to say, don't they already have like WrestleMania and SummerSlam accesses?
Yeah, so I don't know if they would kind of not do that anymore and have this one event instead, or if they would have all three or what. But if they have all three, nobody's going to bother going to them.
You know what? I think they want to do it for their big pay-per-views like Royal Rumble and SummerSlam, at least, especially SummerSlam, do a fan access type thing for that. WWE has the money. They've got the paraphernalia. They've got all that stuff. They could, in theory, if they wanted to, do a bi-monthly, convention tour. I'm sure it would sell out no matter where they went to. My biggest issue would probably be they'd probably end up putting out all the other conventions out of business, like WrestleCon, Wrestle Reunion. I mean, because WWE can outdo all those little Legends conventions and things like that.
Yeah, what about that other convention, TNA?
TNA has conventions?
By the way, everybody,
I thought they were a circus company. I thought they were competing with the Ringling Brothers.
If everybody is hearing the same thing that I'm hearing, I don't know if this is going to come out this way on the recording or not, but if Miguel was just breaking up both times there, that was my issue with the internet connection. I don't know if that's going to continue. If it does and the recording ends up being that way, I apologize to everybody, but I can't know for sure until I'm kind of done recording. So anyway, continue what you guys were saying.
Well, I apologize for Tony too. Sometimes we have to keep this guy in line. As far as I'm concerned, I have no issue with them doing it, but I do agree with Braden on that one. By doing something like that, they're going to end up putting the little guys out of business. And the truth of the matter is, I don't think they want to be doing that. The wrestlers need other places to go.
Vince would most certainly love to put a bunch of little guys out of business. Let's not pull any punches here.
By doing a Comic-Con thing?
He means by getting rid of all the other maybe little festivals that could be going around. You know how a lot of people do the tailgating events like during WrestleMania and all that? Mm-hmm. Like they have their access, sure, but...
Well, I think it would be more so just kind of like how... like Dace goes to these things like Monster Mania and all that. I think that they would just kind of do like another access. But the problem with it is if you oversaturate that kind of a thing, wrestling is kind of... Not to say that it's bland or anything like that, but when you have a convention like that, you've gone to these more than I have, Dace, like at Monster Mania and everything, don't they have everything from cartoon shows to comic books to horror movies?
Sure. Like, what they could do is, and if they planned it right, they could do this successfully. They have a vendor room where they have like all the dealers and stuff, so they can have like Mattel and 2K Sports and all that stuff. And then in a separate room at Monster Mania, they like to air the horror films that are related to the guests that are there. So they could technically run like WrestleManias or the greatest matches of fucking Ted DiBiase if Ted DiBiase's doing an autograph session, and you can make a killing off of that if you get a good venue and good turnout. But don't have the same guests every fucking time.
Yeah, they do that with. I go to a lot of general conventions like anime and video games and things like that, and they'll have a big event type situation like a main guest, and then little vendors and panels around it, and it's kind of like that. I don't know how many times you could do it per year though. I mean, you could probably get away with doing it maybe once every 3 months, once every season.
Yeah, it could be in danger of oversaturation as well. That's another thing.
The only way I'm going to take that back because I do think they could pull it off if they tour it. I think you can maybe do one every month, but you got to go someplace different each time. Like you got to do one in New York, you got to do one in Memphis, you got to do one in LA. Because a lot of these cons they do once a year, but they do it in the same place every year. So if you wanted to do it once every month or once every season, it would have to be somewhere else just to freshen things up.
What do you think, Sean? Sean, yeah.
I think it's a bad idea, to be honest. You don't want to like over promote, do you? That's the thing.
They do that enough on television.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be a convention just of Raw rewinds.
of just the WWE out meet.
Or the
Yes.
rewinds of Access and all that.
I want an
Everybody who
app
didn't
con.
get signed. For different things. Let's move on to another topic here. We have Brie Bella had a bit of a slip up on Raw that WWE made her apologize for.
Why?
I gotta
Why
ask-
That was
apologizing?
necessary or what?
I gotta
Why-
ask. Okay, go ahead. You first.
Yeah, why are they apologizing for it? I thought it was something quite nice. Best thing I've ever seen out of the Bellas.
It's because it's the one that dates Daniel Bryan and not the one that dates John Cena, so they're making an example out of her.
Right.
So
Okay.
I gotta ask though if the heating in that stadium was busted because that looked like it could cut glass.
fuck that. You know why her nipple looks that way? It's because that goat face sucks on it so much. He just extended it out of the boob.
I gotta say,
She had to apologize for a wardrobe accident. Like, it seemed like she dropped the F-bomb or anything like that on, national television. Yeah.
and that was the best. That was the best part of that whole awful Miss TV segment. That made that thing worth
God.
watching.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was obviously
I
one
was
of the
not even
worst
paying attention
segments.
that I missed all of the segment.
Yeah, I
Didn't
think
even know what
the only
happened.
people, I think the only people that should be apologizing. Well, no one should be apologizing. WWE should be thanking which Bella is it? Is it Brie Bella? You said
Brie.
they should
Daniel
be thanking.
Bryan
Yeah,
should be
Daniel Bryan's
apologizing for
Bella.
fucking that nipple up. Just throw that out.
Yeah, this is pretty. There's really not much to talk about. Everybody made a big deal over nothing, as far as I'm concerned.
We can compare it to Caitlyn's and compare the two. Saw hers a couple weeks ago.
Do,
If we had Payne in here, he'd probably talk about how swollen and fat Caitlin's was in comparison. So you'd be like, God, that's a nip slip done right.
it's a new
So
segment.
there's one for you, Payden.
It's funny how we've seen more nips on WWE's PG programming than we ever did in the Attitude Era. Say what you want, but those Attitude Era girls knew how to keep their clothes connected to them.
When they
Unfortunately.
wanted to.
But saying that, sweaty weather, that you can't really tape something down if the thing's going to come unstuck. So there you go.
3 more hot tags as far as I'm concerned. One of them, kind of going with the Brie Bella heat. Well, I guess kind of heat. Kassius Ohno from NXT. You guys might know him as Chris Hero from ROH. Apparently has heat from WWE because they want him to improve on his physique, and supposedly, now of course everything like this has to be taken with a grain of salt, he kind of took that as nah and decided not to do it, and that pissed him off, understandably, if that's actually what happened, and he could have screwed himself out of a main roster spot.
It's silly because he's a talented individual in regards to Kassius Ohno, and I believe he deserves to be on the main roster, but I do agree with the WWE. There's a certain look that you need to have. You've got to show that you're at least trying to get yourself in better shape, and because of the way that the guy is, he's got a high testosterone level, so he needs to get himself, in proper ring shape to make sure that he can work. He can. He's shown how impressive he is in the ring, but they're not going to take that shit if he doesn't at least do something,
I think WWE's kind of cutting themselves off at the knee by if they decide to get rid of him, because I think they've shown in the past year or two that there's big money in a lot of these ROH guys, and I think it would be foolish if they just at least didn't attempt to try to push Chris Hero. I mean, maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't, but I think just to get rid of him before you even debut him on TV would be ridiculous. I do think that I do think ROH has proven that there's money in those talents, and maybe he just can't. I mean, some people just can't build up muscle or shape themselves in a certain way. I've been trying. God knows I've been trying, but
he wasn't. Apparently, he's not trying at all. He doesn't do the gym workouts. He doesn't push the weights, and it's not because of lack of trying. I think if he was trying and wasn't putting on the muscle mass, then that's fine.
Then they would
But
give
if
him
you're
drugs and film him for a wellness policy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're outright refusing to do it, then there's a problem.
Yeah, if that's more of a behavioral thing, then he's not going to last. If it's something where he just kind of needs to get that physique, and he can't, then there's more of a chance that they might be a little bit lenient in there. But I could actually see this going either way. I could see them either... Now, of course, if this is all true, too. I mean, they might have just this might be total bullshit. But if he is ignoring the workout regimen and all that other kind of stuff, he stands no shot because they're going to take that as like a slap in the face. And WWE is good with forgiving people, but that's after the fact. And they are not going to put up with that. If he does have some sort of a problem, then we're going to end up finding that he's somebody who's stuck in a developmental for like the longest time, and then they bring him onto TV and then release him. Like, I don't think that either of them is going to work. It could just be total bullshit, though, and it could be a situation where he's not on TV just because they decided not to go with the route that they wanted to. I mean, we were hearing Big Show was going to return all fucking week with SmackDown and all that, and lo and behold, he doesn't, because they weren't even they didn't even get him cleared. So if they do that kind of stuff, what was that?
I blame Sin Cara for that. He had one job.
He's usually good at jobbing.
The thing is,
that's 3MB.
The thing with this situation is, as I've stated before, they're not going to fire him. They've made that abundantly clear about this. They're going to put him back on next, but he won't be elevated to the main roster spot until he gets himself in line. And it's a good way of them saying, look, you know, if you want to be up in the main roster where you want to be, you've got to put the work in. And the thing is, you've signed on to be with one of the biggest companies in the wrestling industry. You know what they want. You know how they do things. Punk, you know, before he joined the company, he gained body mass. He basically put the weights. He did everything he could. And then once after he's established himself, he brought himself back down to his normal weight because he realized that he didn't need to do that. With Ohno, he's not even trying. And that's another thing. And again, I've the utmost respect for the guy. I've seen him look in great physical shape when he was in Ring of Honor. He had abs. He was really fit. You know, he had a very good physique. He wasn't the bulkiest of persons, but they're not expecting that. They're expecting him to at least put in the work to make himself look good.
Anybody else have any other points before we move on to the other NXT?
Yeah.
You know,
do some setups, you lazy cunt.
You know, I'll be honest. I'm looking at pictures of just to see what kind of physique we're talking about, what improvements he has to make. I'll admit I do see WWE's issue because he really doesn't have any real definition. I mean, he's got
love handles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's a great athlete. I'm sure he can really do the work, but he really, if WWE considers a guy like Daniel Bryan to be looking like a regular guy, a regular Joe on the street, then Kassius Ohno has no chance, because that is a guy off the street. I mean, he looks like a regular guy, more than Daniel Bryan at least.
No, but that's the thing. He's shown that he can get definition before. As I said, go and look at Ring of Honor. Look at the Kings of Wrestling. To me, he's not trying. He's just at that point where he's thinking, I should be given that spot. He might be a bit frustrated because of the fact he hasn't been called up yet, but you've got to do everything you can to look the part. Go onto the roster. Do everything you need to do. You don't want to look like fucking Matt Hardy. Fat piece of shit.
Fat Hardy. Dace, any thoughts?
No, I can really care less, and plus, my body sucks, so I'm not going to go ranting on somebody else's body.
Dace, you got sexy, man. Don't even lie.
I jiggle and I know it.
All right, one other NXT situation, and this is just flat out release. Memo Montenegro, or is it Memo? I don't know, whatever it is, it doesn't fucking matter. He's going anyway. Alberto Del Rio's younger brother, if I remember correctly, who apparently just sucked at wrestling, and that's why they released him, which, if he sucked, good, get rid of that guy. It doesn't matter if you're the brother of somebody. If you can release Dolph Ziggler's brother, who at least had a good physique to him. We're talking about physiques. Memo Montenegro looked like he didn't have one. Just get rid of the guy. I mean, you don't need everybody's sibling and everybody's son that's in wrestling to be in WWE. Not all of them are good by default. I mean, look at Miguel or Curtis Axel. He's nowhere near as good as Mr. Perfect was. And we had Slam Master Jay. He really worked out, didn't he? Like, you know what I mean? So,
wait, who?
Yeah,
Jesse and Festus.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, some of them just don't work out. We had Manu. There's another example.
Yeah,
So-
but
Smith.
he was like fit when he came onto the roster, and then before he debuted to the main roster, he looked like a piece of shit. So no wonder the guy got beat.
Yeah, so
His-
if Montenegro was not good enough in the ring and he didn't even have a good enough body to go along with it where they could go, well, maybe we'll salvage this for some reason like they did with Kali, then good riddance.
I was gonna say who until you said Del Rio's brother.
That's the only reason he was there.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, if your brother botches on the main roster, so you're probably no hope for you if you've got no talent. Apparently, he had no wrestling talent at all, from what I
Oh
hear.
God.
So I'm glad he's gone. I don't even like Del Rio. I hope they release him at some point.
I'm tired of Del Rio. I don't think that they should release Del Rio. I don't want to say that, but they should demote the fuck out of the guy.
That's never gonna happen.
I would have said put him in a tag team with his brother, but if his brother was apparently that awful, then I'd rather see him in a tag team with nobody.
I
Sammy
say bring him.
Ricardo,
I say
fuck
bring.
it.
I say bring him in as his masked babyface persona. You know, bring in Dos Caras Jr. You know, I know they've been wanting to have a masked wrestler personality, and the whole Sin Cara thing hasn't been too worthwhile. So why not do that? I mean, they've clearly proven that Del Rio has the work ability to get a character like that over. So, you know, why not switch things up?
You don't think that we should go with what we were joking about the other week with putting a mask on Yoshitatsu and calling him Tsunami?
Oh God,
It's worth a shot.
if this were mid '90s WWF, I could see that.
It would work. Anybody else have any thoughts on Memo Montenegro?
I like the name. That's a funny name.
Which means no.
Yeah.
And we're going from one release to another, but this one is TNA. TNA releases Jesse Sorensen. Like, God.
boy.
All right, Burhan, go.
Before Burhan goes on his rant, I want to say one thing about this. Everybody's going to kind of look at this one way. I know that they're going to look at it this way, of this is a really shitty move for TNA. And it is. I'm not going to deny that at all. I'm going to let Burhan go on that rant for me. But one thing that I want to bring up that I haven't seen anybody really talk about yet is not the whole like job for life and all that kind of stuff, but the fact that they're now releasing somebody who they put on a backstage role that didn't, I mean, as far as I know, and maybe I'm wrong about this, didn't necessarily have all the qualifications to do the backstage role. Wouldn't that just kind of be like a huge sign right there that you need to stop just doing things the stupid way and go for people that know how to do the jobs? Speaking of which, if you don't have people that book TNA right, and you don't have people that know the marketing of TNA right, and you don't have people that can figure out the accounting of TNA right to pay people, that is your biggest problem. So you don't need to worry about the wrestlers to release. You need to worry about the people that can't figure out how much money you have to begin with.
Well, then we'd have to release Dixie Carter, Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff. Let's throw Jason Hervey in there just to be safe.
So go on your rant, Burhan.
Okay, first of all, I just want to say the fact that they didn't even get the kid to renegotiate his contract. That's another thing. You could have kept him on a lower salary. I don't think he would have given a fuck. The fact he was happy to have his job and be there was another thing. The fact that he wasn't fucking crippled because of these guys is another. I'm not saying, you know, Mark Madden can say all the fucking shit that he wants, but the fact is, if your backstage personnel is getting people to do stupid spots and not monitoring your matches, it's your fucking fault. Anything that happened to this poor kid was their fault. Just like with the WWE and Darren Drozdorf, it was their fault and they kept the guy on for life. He chose to leave. They didn't release him. Right? That's that big thing there. And they, you know, if Droz came to the WWE tomorrow and said, I need a job, trust me, Vince would find something for the motherfucker to do. So
actually, wait a minute. He has been working for WWE. He writes for the site. He still writes for the site.
He still writes for the site. I heard he left.
Let me check his wiki page, because last time I heard he's had a job for life. They immediately hired him.
There you go. He's got a job for life there, people. Because I remember he did write for the site, but then he left. But again, look, if he's got him on again, then he's there. What the fuck is wrong with Dixie Carter? And what warped sense of commitment does she have? Because she wants to keep Hulk Hogan. He's the biggest fucking leech on your company. Get rid of him. You could save a boatload of money for what you're paying him. Kurt Angle, do you need him on your roster? No. Get rid of him. Sting, get rid of him. Get rid of Jeff fucking I'm a cokehead Hardy. Get rid of that guy. You don't need these people on your roster, and then you're releasing people that are committed to building your company. What do you want? Hogan versus an imaginary fucking bear? I don't get this. I don't get what the fucking company is doing. Spike TV's like, we have faith in them. Really? Do you? I bet if a company came and gave you a lesser price for doing a fucking show similar to TNA, I bet they would. If Ring of Honor came to you tomorrow, you probably would jump on their bandwagon and get rid of the fucking TNA brand willy-nilly. If it's a cost-cutting measure that you want, do it wisely. Look at things that you don't need that are non-essential to your company and get rid of them. What's Hogan done for your company? Nothing. He's put a financial drain on it. Bischoff, he's done nothing. Even Jason Hervey, I like the fucking guy, but he's done nothing for your company. What, he stands there and does interviews with a fucking camera just to make it look super cool? Ooh, lovely. WWE.com does the same thing with some unrecognizable dick. No one cares. The fact is, if you want to do a proper product, you hire the correct talent. You've got a freaking women's division with, what, 2 people? Including Dixie, her fucking... Gail Kim and Mickie James are your women's division. That's it. That's all you have. Your X division consists of 1 guy. Congratulations, TNA. You are making yourselves fucking irrelevant. Here's a question I want to ask Dixie. Dixie, do you like being anally drilled by Hogan and Bischoff? Do you not have a thought in that brain of yours on how to run a company? If you don't, why don't you get somebody from the independents to run your company, to book for your company? Why didn't you offer Paul Heyman to book your company and actually manage the fucking thing? It would probably be having a rating over a 3.0 by now, you stupid fucking dumb bitch. Seriously. Focus on getting your fucking company back together and stop going around tweeting people at Ask Dixie. We like our fans. You obviously don't, because you don't fucking listen to them. Stupid, dumb fucking... You know what? Instead of fuck Leland Garcia, I'll say fuck Dixie Carter. Right now, that's what it starts. I will hashtag, I will tweet fuck Dixie Carter until she gets a brain cell in that fucking ditzy West Texas down inbred hick head of hers, and her and her husband go fuck themselves, as far as I'm concerned. I hope TNA fucking gets sold on to some, you know what, even a porn star buying the company would be better than Dixie Carter. You fucking mark for yourself. Dumb
I
bitch.
personally think it was a great business decision. The guy wasn't going to be doing any moonsaults anytime soon, so why do I need a wrestler like that booking shit in the back? Dixie Carter,
fair, she can still walk, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Put him in a match.
I mean,
he's not incapable. I mean, he can walk around and do other stuff, right? Like, it's not like...
Yeah, I mean, he's not paralyzed or anything like that. It's just he can't wrestle anymore.
Sounds like he could job to me. I'm just throwing that out there. You can walk. You can job. I'm just throwing that out there. And by the way, never disregard fuck Lillian Garcia. Fuck Lillian Garcia so hard with a metal spatula.
I like Dixie. I like Lillian Garcia. Screw
Dixie Carter's the motherfucking devil.
Fuck Lillian Garcia. Dixie Carter is a southern gem. Great business decision.
You sarcastic fuck.
I smell nothing but a bunch of bullshit reaping from that line.
I know, me too.
You're damn right. The American Dream was running that company. When he was doing it, the American Dream knew how to do a company. But he didn't sit there and just get taken up the ass from Hulk Hogan, baby. Dixie Carter, her name is Dix. Think about it. Her name is Dix. Do you want Dix running your company? I don't think so. The American Dream wouldn't do that. My name is Dusty, and we're going to dust off that company, and we're going to make it good with the Sapphire and the Divas division, and the Dusty American Dream is out.
Honestly, I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with Dusty taking over.
I'd be okay with anybody taking over.
Do you know the dumbest thing that company has done is they've put Magnus as the future of the company. This dude wasn't even fucking relevant in bloody Gladiators, and he's the future of your company. A guy
letting Matt Hardy get away.
Clearly the future of TNA. Future star.
letting Matt Hardy get away. That was the dumbest thing they've ever done. That guy is version 1, and he was bringing like class, honor, and internet sensations their way. He killed himself, brought himself back to life. Just saying. It's like having Jesus on your show. Yeah, it's like having Jesus on our show. Dixie made a mistake there.
I just don't understand how an individual can sit there and say, "Oh, look, it's profitable. Here's an idea." What, Hoke? What? Oh, we'll tour. That won't cost us much money, will it? Well, okay. That's it. We'll tour, y'all. Let's tour. Oh, Mickey, your boyfriend should be the top star, shouldn't he? Because we're all best friends and want to do country music videos together, y'all. Let's do that, y'all.
Sounds logical to me.
I just fucked a horse, y'all.
That sounds like it's great paperwork that turned into an awesome product. I'm just throwing that out there.
You said you think she said TNA may get a profit from this. Come on, that company doesn't make any profits.
Tony, do you mind if I do the Ask Dixies? Do you mind if I actually let you guys know what the Ask Dixies says here? Miguel, thanks to Miguel from this one.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go for it because I didn't get a chance to read them, but let's go for it.
Osiris Slamchest put, "Is it true once you got busy in a Burger King bathroom?" Doomsday Gorilla says, "Are you going to have Garrett Bischoff win the TNA title before TNA goes under at the end of the year?"
That's a great idea. Just throwing that out there.
A guy asks, "Do you know that Relic is killer spelled backwards?" Bard Maddox, no affiliation to Brad Maddox here, says, "How does it feel to know that George W. Bush cares more about black people than you do?" Another one here is a gem. "Don't you regret cutting ties with Ring of Honor now that they're closer to being the number 2 wrestling promotion in North America?" Which is so fucking true. Let's have a look.
I gotta say, one of Osiris Slamchest's personal gems. Hashtag Ask Dixie. How's it feel to be a worse promoter than ICP?
Oh, here's one. When will we see David Arquette win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship? That's a brilliant one. I think we need to see that, Dixie.
Dude, we could get a Ready to Rumble 2. Do not even diss that. I would love Ready to Rumble 2.
Wait. Do you realize that the Great Khali could book Impact better than the clowns you have running the show? Do you know how many...
Hashtag Hogan, hashtag Bishop, hashtag brother.
Do you know how many guitars Jeff Jarrett is going to have to fix this? At TNA Dixie and in capitals, do you?
Fuck Carrot Top.
Oh my god, there's lovely gems here. Have you finally decided on Chris Benoit being in the TNA Hall of Fame?
I love the one, because of how big of a Simpsons fan I am, I love the one, "Are they saying boo or boo earns?"
Yes, I was going to say that one.
Oh god, there's some...
Yeah, why do you pay women such minuscule amounts yet? At TNA Hulk Hogan, at Bischoff, who do nothing for TNA, keep conning you. Ask Dixie. Now, guys, I implore everybody to ask Dixie a fucking question about how motherfucking dumb this woman is. She should be dyeing her hair blonde and saying that she's from the Jersey motherfucking Shore.
Because that's me.
Concerned, this woman has no fucking clue how to run a wrestling company. You know what you should do, Dixie? You should run a country music agency and book Mickie James as your fucking lead act, because obviously she knows how to do country. That's why she's wrestling, because her music career is taken off so well that she's wrestling with your fucking company. Here's a fucking idea. Get a clue, Dixie Carter. Get a motherfucking clue. Dumb bitch. Seriously.
Sounds like you're a little butthurt over this.
Butthurt ain't a motherfucking word. I really hope Dixie Carter never, if this company does go under, that she never touches wrestling. That she doesn't even suck a wrestler's dick.
WWE Hall of Fame, just saying.
When they buy her out.
Yep. Butthurt is not the worst of it. I think Burhan's at this point suffering from bloody underwear.
Well, before Burhan goes on another 20-minute rant, I think I'm going to end the hot tags.
Yeah, he needs to go clean the sand out of his vagina.
I've got an X-Pac ass at the moment. My butt is split.
Part 3 coming up. We're going to take care of all the little things here and there, like the Did You Know and all that. And as I said before, something special. And then we're going to move on to the special feature in Part 4. So check all that coming your